Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. An executive session was held in advance of this meeting to discuss personnel, contract, and legal matters. I'd like to ask you all to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. You may be seated. I'd like to formally welcome our newly elected and returning directors, Mr. Jonathan Fry, Mr. Philip Lehman, who's not able to be here tonight, Mrs. Marcy Walborn, who's also not able to be here tonight, and Mrs. Charlotte Wilt. So welcome and thank you. Since this is our mandatory reorganization meeting, which happens the first week of every December, we need to start by electing a temporary president. At this time, I would like to take any nominations for anyone who would be willing to serve the board as a temporary president. And I'd like to nominate Tina Kelly. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Can I have a motion to close the nominations for temporary president?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so the nomination for temporary president has closed. At this point, are there any opposed to the nomination of Mrs. Tina Kelly as the temporary president? Hearing none, the motion passes. I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mrs. Kelly.
Okay, at this time, I'll accept nominations for president.
I'd like to nominate Phil Lehman.
Second.
I'd like to nominate Tina Kelly.
Okay, any other nominations?
I'd like to move to close the nominations.
Okay,
We have a second.
Second.
okay. Mrs. Wilt?
Are we going to do a roll call?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Dee has to. Heather did such a better job at this than I.
Mrs. Wilt? Dr. Rubish?
Tina Kelly.
Mr. Fry?
Mr. Lehman.
No, point of order, Mrs. Kelly there was no second. It's just Mr. Lehman.
Okay, okay.
Am I right?
That's correct.
So then motion carries is what you're
Well,
saying?
no.
Okay. Mrs. Singley?
Mr. Lehman.
Mrs. Kelly?
Mr. Lehman?
And Dr. Jones?
No, Mr. Lehman.
Okay, Mr. Lehman.
Okay, being that Mr. Lehman is not present and I'm still the vice president of the board, I'd like to, at this point, ask for nominations for vice president of the school board. And I would like to nominate Jonathan Fry.
Second.
Any other nominations? May I have a motion to close the nominations for vice president?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Okay, at this point, can we have a roll call, please, for Jonathan Fry for vice president?
Mrs. Kelly? Mrs. Singley?
Mr. Fry.
Mrs. Wilt? Dr. Rubish?
Mr. Fry.
Mr. Fry? And Dr. Jones?
Mr. Fry. So motion carries. At this point, since Mr. President is not here, I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Fry.
Just don't sit in my coffee. Well, that escalated quickly. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. All right. Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Good. All right. At this time, we will take any public comments on agenda items only.
Yes, I'd like to talk about the vacancy for just Region 3. I did a write-in vote for that. I called the election board after the election, was told I won the election. I said I still haven't received any paperwork. This was on, I think, Monday after the election. They still hadn't counted all the write-ins. I finally got the paperwork on the 16th. I put it back in the mail. It was postmarked the 19th. They didn't receive it until the 24th. So therefore, my election, I lost because I didn't send my paperwork back in on time, which I did, but they didn't receive it. So just putting that out there. So if you need somebody to fill the vacancy, I'm here.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Fox.
Thank you. Yeah, this evening we'd like to recognize our talented students for their contributions to our district holiday greeting card. This card will be sent electronically to our stakeholders and to other school district partners. Each of you that are here this evening helped with your talents to contribute to this great Christmas card that's here as well. So at this time, I'm going to ask your building principal to call you forward individually to be recognized and receive a copy of your framed art, and even better than that, well, I shouldn't say that. Equally, you get a plate of cookies as a sign of our thanks and appreciation. So at this time, I'm going to start with Dr. Lorfink at the elementary school.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I'm going to start with our elementary winner, who's a fourth grader, Gracie Anna Roberts. Can you come on down, Gracie Anna? Congratulations. And you'll see her entry in a minute, but she drew a very lovely snowman. Our fourth graders all were able to submit drawings, and our office staff narrowed them down to about, I think it was like 10 and 12 drawings. And our faculty actually voted, and Graciana was the winner. So here you go. Congratulations. And Graciana is a fourth grader. Like I said, she's in Mrs. Walsman's class. I think Dad wants a picture. Sir?
For the middle school, our winner is a sixth grader. Be Claire Finkenbinder. And much like Dr. Lorfink, it's tough to decide on these. It's not a job for one person. So the secretarial staff actually narrowed down to 5, and then they made up to me. And it was too much stress for me, so I had to take it home and let my kids and my mom help me out. So I didn't want all the stress falling on me. So congratulations, Claire. I was going to keep those.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce one of my very talented juniors, Kendall Scheffler. Please come down. Kendall did an amazing job. Her photo, it took a while for everyone to vote, and it was a clear winner. There's lots of tough competition, but Kendall did a great job. So Kendall.
Can we see a copy of the cards? I'm curious. Oh, okay.
So as we scroll the card, you'll get a chance to see that. But let's once again, please join me in a round of applause for our great students and their talent that they displayed. I really like it, right? Why get a static card when you can get in something that kind of brings life to it with music? And thank you for your talents once again, and your artwork and your dedication and your commitment in sharing that with us as we send that out to our community to continue to bring that happiness and joy of the holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you all. Talk about talent. I struggle to draw a recognizable stick figure, so that's very impressive. Thanks again for coming out tonight and joining us to receive the awards. You don't have to stick around for the rest of the evening if you don't want, but again, thank you. I'm going to jump back up. I missed this, and then we'll do the student health reports.
Okay, sir.
At this time, we're going to look for a motion to approve the minutes for the November 9th regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right. And at this time, we'll move on to student representative reports.
Okay, so to get us started, I went and saw the high school's play, A Rented Christmas, on Friday, and that showing went very well. They did a great job, and then there was also another showing Saturday, and I only heard good things about it. And now that we're done with the play, we're shifting to the musical, which is going to be Mamma Mia this year. Auditions are going to be taking place on December 16th, so we're looking forward to that.
Alrighty, on November 23rd, we had a Principals Advisory Committee meeting. We were planning initiative ideas for school. Nothing's been finalized yet, but there are some balls that are rolling in the court. We're planning to, at some point, it hasn't been totally decided yet, but we're planning on writing Christmas cards for all the faculty and staff at the high school. Is that correct? Okay. So that'll be meeting next week. And the Principals Advisory Committee and media are working on a course selection handbook kind of interactive video. I believe certain clubs or electives will be making a video to show to like the middle schoolers and maybe the high schoolers to kind of give them an idea of what they're signing up for. So that way kids aren't just signing up for something that they don't really know anything about. It won't be available this year, but it should be available next year. Yeah. So.
And then talking about shifting from thing to thing, we have winter sports that have been starting. The first home game will be next week, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have all the fall sports going on.
Coming up is the National Honor Society Quizathon. That is a fundraiser, and it will be happening December 14th. I believe that they're using a site called 99 Pledges, where I believe the faculty are giving questions for the students to answer, and the more people can pledge, like, let's say $5 a question for each team, or each question each team gets correct. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. We have never done anything like this before for NHS, I believe. So it's a very innovative new idea to kind of raise money, rather than your regular like T-shirt sale or bake sale or, yeah, it's very innovative and fun, and it gets us involved in doing good.
I agree with Taryn. Okay, so also National Honor Society is helping, like there's a few students from National Honor Society who volunteered to help with the adoptive family at the elementary school on December 15th. And that's all.
Thank you. All right. At this time, we'll move into discussion. Number one, about the vacancy for Board of School Directors for Region 3. At the beginning, during public comments on agenda item, Mr. Carmo addressed the situation that occurred with his write-in candidacy and vote and the Office of Elections and getting his paperwork back in and where that stands. I don't know if we want to address that and decide make a decision? Does any board member have anything they'd like to say?
Well, we know Rob won the election, right?
That is correct.
Okay. I don't know. He should be on the board. I mean, we all well know the state of affairs with the U.S. postal system these days. And I think that's where the fault lies, so he should be on the board.
Yeah, I'd like to just say I tend to be a bit of a rule follower, and technically, you know, my first thought would be that we should advertise the position and then see if there are other people interested in interview. But the reality is, I know Mr. Carmo spent an entire day at the polls, sacrificing his own job and his own family to do something that we don't get paid for. And I know that we had position open for that region for a long time, and there was no interest from the community, and thankfully then Mrs. Wilt stepped up. So in light of the fact of all of those things, I would totally agree. I appreciate Mr. Carmo's efforts, and I would have no problems appointing him to the board, given those circumstances.
I just want to make a comment publicly that I am disappointed in how this was handled. I'm disappointed that the rest of the board wasn't made aware of this until today. I'm disappointed that there was no discussion on having a public meeting as an emergency meeting. I know that the timing was tight, but there was no discussion of an emergency meeting to get Mr. Carmo on the board prior to our reorg, to continue his continuity of his position. We knew from the numbers that the taxpayers in Region 3 voted him as the write-in. He received the majority of the votes. For us to, you know, open this up or do anything other than appoint him in this position would be doing a disservice to the taxpayers of Region 3. And my biggest disappointment is that the communication was very poor with the board, that we were not made aware of this to even entertain the option of having an emergency meeting to reinstate him, because he deserves to be sitting up here right now. He deserves to have been able to take part in the beginning of the meeting. He is going to be on the board for the rest of the year. I think that it's just, this is a lack of communication and transparency from the people on the board that knew that this happened, to not allow us to make a decision. I think that the right decision is to get him on the board right now immediately, but I think that he should have been present at this meeting. I think it should have been done as an emergency meeting that was publicly advertised, where we could have had this discussion and put him on so there was no interruption in his time on the board. So, Mr. Fry, I don't know if you want to wait until item 10, but I am happy to make a motion to appoint Rob Carmo as the school board director for Region 3.
Well, I'd like, Mrs. Kelly, I found out about this when you found out about this. Did other board members know about this before then?
Yes.
Okay.
I did? I didn't. I don't,
And even that was earlier than today.
That's why I'm a little confused, because we could have, I guess, asked when you and I found out for, I didn't think of it, we could have asked for a meeting then, I guess. Is that what you were?
Yeah, but other people on the board knew right away.
Okay.
They knew in November, which we talked about.
oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I wasn't sure that it would really meet the criteria for an emergency meeting. We could have done maybe a special meeting, because it's not a life or death situation.
Well, I'm just
but,
saying,
you know,
I'm
but I
just using
understand
the
what you're
term
saying.
emergency, that it's
Yeah.
not the regularly
Regular
scheduled
meeting,
meeting. If
yeah.
you want to call it special meeting, emergency meeting, whatever you want.
Okay.
There's different qualifications for the amount of time that we have to advertise.
Yeah.
And I think just kind of bringing some things to closure, I understand what everybody is saying. I think unfortunately, I think due to some timing associated with the holiday and just some timing associated with collecting information, following up with the information to ensure that the information provided at the courthouse was in fact the information that we were getting, and double checking all that information kind of put us at this point a particular at the timing of it and the calendar-wise of where we are at right now, at that particular point. So I think timing wasn't in favor of anything due to the fact of the looking at the end of November and again, looking at the beginnings of December and trying to see when, in fact, things were open and getting that information to ensure that if, in fact, that Region 3 position was, in fact, open. So we wanted to ensure that that information was, in fact, we wanted to double check with the courthouse and the Office of Elections to kind of verify and making sure that there was nothing in there that legally that we couldn't do, and that if in fact was a finality.
So if I understand Mrs. Kelly correctly, and I would join you in your recommendation that we add Mr. Carmo's name to item number 10 and vote on it then when we get to item number 10. Is that correct?
I said that's fine, yeah.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I do agree, but just so I can keep on track here, we'll wait till we get to 10, because I already did mess up a couple things up above that we're going to have to look at. Okay, so now we'll move on to budget timeline. Do we have a microphone for Ms. Moore? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So if you recall back in October, I did a presentation about the budget timeline. So this is essentially reiterating that information, but now we actually have from PDE an Act 1 index to follow. So I'm just going to kind of go over this timeline again. And these are all based off of our board meeting dates as well as our caucus dates. The majority of them are board meeting dates aside from the budget presentation. So in January, we must adopt the resolution to limit the tax increase to the Act 1 index, and our Act 1 index this year is 3.4%. You will actually see this motion on the agenda this evening because in prior conversations we've had, we've discussed not raising taxes above the index. So you'll see that motion on the agenda this evening. In which case, then I can move forward with proceeding to enter all the information into PDE right after this meeting, if you so choose to adopt that resolution. In March, the budget presentation will need to be presented. And then on the 10th, the board meeting scheduled for the 10th, an adopted proposed final budget will need to be approved, and that way the following day we can make it available for the 20-day public review. And at that point, on the 14th of June, then a final budget will need to be approved. And then therefore, after that, we can submit it to PDE. And we haven't had any scheduled budget workshops, but we've certainly have already started the discussions among the leaders and departments on our end, but as far as the potential dates for your discussion, those are still to be determined. So that is, at this point, like I said, if you so choose to adopt the resolution tonight, we will not go above the 3.4% index. You can either stay at 0 if you so choose to adopt this resolution, or you can move it up to 3.4%. Otherwise, if you wanted to go above that, we would have to propose a preliminary budget to submit to PDE. So I will leave that up to the motion this evening, and if you have any additional questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. And once again, just for clarification, right? By adopting the resolution does not mean that taxes will be raised. It says if we do need to, it will not be above 3.4%. So just once again, it does not mean taxes will be raised. It just stipulates if in fact it is, it will not be above 3.4%. So I really appreciate Mrs. Moore, all of her hard work, and really working to gain a lot of traction in our budget timeline as we really begin to look at things differently and begin to really kind of push things a little bit, I shouldn't say sooner, but getting some traction on this budget process, because we know sometimes objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. So thank you. And now we'll move right back to you for a draft of the proposed 2022-2023
2023 academic calendar.
Thanks. So this is just kind of just an update again on draft number 2 on our academic calendar for looking at 22-23 already. Hard to believe, right? And getting some feedback from you in the last caucus meeting and some feedback from our association. We wanted to go ahead and January the 2nd of 2023 will be a day off for students and faculty and staff. Graduation will be moved to May 25th, and we will have our last teacher day on May 30th. One of the things we want to avoid is any conflict. It was discussed with the 26th and possibly the 27th with the PIAA state track meet that's held each year on that particular date, and that takes a large amounts of people away, as well as the Memorial Day travel holiday on Saturday, Sunday, and the unofficial start to summer. Questions on the calendar?
What is Friday the 13th again?
A day we avoid. No, just teasing.
2-hour early dismissal. Or wait, yes. Yep.
So that will be a
That's what
2-hour
the
early
color code
dismissal.
says.
You'll see certain days in turquoise. Again, we wanted that to be teacher collaboration and planning time, and we're going to use those as scheduled 2-hour early dismissal times. That can fall within the premises of Act 80 as well, because of the fact that it does fall within the auspice of teacher planning collaboration. And we did those strategically throughout the year to allow for us to not to be reactive when it comes to data, but use that data to help drive decision-making and to inform us as to making those instructional adjustments based upon our curriculum and allowing that important collaboration time.
Okay, so I just have a quick question. So the half-days, I see you've got them sort of positioned to meet that need that you're looking for before a holiday, right? So it looks like you have one before Labor Day, then one before Martin Luther King birthday weekend, right? And then going back to October, that one's sort of random. Is it positioned
Near end of the marking
Okay.
periods.
Okay.
Yep, except
Right.
for the one on September 2nd is a Labor Day 2-hour early dismissal.
Yeah, I see that. And
yep.
like I said, the one, the 13th is that just because it's towards the end of a marking period, but it just happens to fall on that holiday weekend? So they're
Yes.
positioned more because of end of the marking period, not because of a
Yes,
holiday weekend?
Yes.
And still meeting the same need, that I'm just, okay,
Yep.
got it, okay,
and those are 2-hour early dismissals.
okay.
I'm assuming we're going to apply for flexible instruction days, again, if possible, which we would use those theoretically before we would use the snow makeup days. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, sir, and we are authorized for those for, I believe it's a 2-year window and cycle.
Dr. Fox, can you go down to November again, just, so this year, I'm just questioning, so you had wanted to populate in a half day before the Christmas break. Did you decide not to do it there because now we're actually off on the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Well, no, that shows early dismissal on the 23rd.
Oh,
Oh, it does. I'm sorry. My apologies. It is.
that's a little bit of a color combination. It's not very,
That's
not
an
very
orange.
clear to me.
And the reason is because it's the first time that it says all. And I think it's the recognizing that it's a staff, faculty, and everybody early dismissal for 2 hours during that time. I think that's why we chose to do it as a Susquenita orange color.
Okay.
Yep.
My husband
apologies.
tells me men only see like in one shade of pink. It's not, and now I'm the one that's going with, I can't tell the difference between the orange colors. So it's good.
I would just like to make a quick note. I'm very happy with the calendar. I think it's good. If it comes up to vote, I would vote for it. The one thing that I've noticed this year, and I probably should have noticed it before, but I maybe didn't have kids in these districts or friends that had kids in these districts. I notice a lot of schools do their parent-teacher conferences the week of Thanksgiving. And in looking at that calendar right now and seeing those 2 sad days there, the 21st and the 22nd of November, right before all those days where they're off, I wonder maybe how the teachers and administrators feel of how much work actually gets done in those 2 days. If it would be better to have those days be the parent-teacher conference days instead of how we do it. And maybe just as something to think about for the 23, 24, like I'm not saying that, we need to change this one. I just am curious as to what people would think of that, because I just see those 2 days there and I feel like that seems like the kids are probably wild those 2 days. Like they're
November
not-
the 11th is Veterans Day, though, so.
Well, no, they would still need that off. That's why I'm saying I don't think that, I'm not expecting them to rework the calendar for this year because I'm happy with the calendar. But I'm just saying going forward, I see a lot of schools that would have off for Veterans Day, but then they actually are off a full week for Thanksgiving, but those first 2 days are actually they're actually parent-teacher conference days.
I think the reason we went to parent-teacher conference on Veterans Day was that reason, because people were complaining the kids were in school. So we worked around it by having it over Veterans Day every year. I think that's why it's landed there.
As a parent, I can say I like where we have parent-teacher conferences just because I feel like it's that wrap-up of the first marking period. If there's anything that's been identified as far as an issue or problem, you can kind of start nipping it very early in the first quarter. And Rachel had her wisdom teeth out 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I can tell you she missed a lot of work. So there must have been something going on those 2 days. But yeah, I think I like the idea of where it's at now, but it might be worth having the discussion with staff and seeing what they
Thank you.
think.
I think it's something certainly for, it's always interesting to see different models. So we could definitely look at a different model for 23, 24 and see what that might do based upon where the holidays fall. We know we bump it. And just to see and get some different ideas and get some feedback. Thank you. Absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion that Rob Carmo be appointed as the school board director for Region 3.
Second.
Could I ask that we pause on that for a second?
I thought that's why you were looking at me, John. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have said it.
Not yet, sorry. Sorry.
I thought that
Just as a point of order, since I'm getting my feet wet here new to this, I want to jump back up to number 5 to the motion to adopt the agenda and we had a first and a second, but I want to make sure we don't have any no votes for that. So there's,
So in that point of order, though, would it be appropriate at this time to amend the agenda to add his name before we vote on the adoption of the agenda? And then vote on the motion?
can we amend?
Because it's just listed as a
You
placeholder.
certainly can.
So I would make a motion to to amend the agenda to list Robert Carmo to appoint him as the school board director for Region 3, which is number 10 on the agenda.
Second.
And do we have any no votes? Hearing none, motion carries. And number 7, we had a first and a second for the motion to approve the minutes from the November 9th, 2021 regular board meeting. Do we have any no votes on that? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. Now we are to number 10, which we just amended to be a motion to appoint Rob Carmo as the school board director for Region 3.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Are there any no votes?
Probably just USPS.
Would you like to call them?
No.
Probably won't get through for a few days.
Yeah.
Yes? Oh, okay. I asked. That's fine. Okay. Let's actually take a roll call vote on this.
Mrs. Wilt,
Aye. Mr. Carmel.
Mr. Fry,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mrs. Singley,
Yes.
Dr. Rubish,
Yes.
and Dr. Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Did he come down now?
Come on down.
Yeah, come join us, Rob. Should we give him a round of applause, too?
He has cookies in the room. Do we have his placard?
You sit
Just
here.
no, yeah, that's fine. Everyone else.
Are you comfortable and ready? He's still yakking.
You're on the good side now.
Okay. Now we'll move into the appointment of board delegates, beginning with Capital Tax Collection Bureau. And I believe we could probably do Perry County Tax Commission at the same time. How did we want to do this? This is...
Do you want us to appoint you?
Position.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Let's look for appointing the position.
The position?
So I'm looking for a motion to appoint a board delegate being the assistant to the superintendent for finance and operations.
Mr. Fry, I think Mr. Lehman, as board president, appoints these people. I don't believe these are elected.
Okay.
Mrs. Kelly, is that your recollection as well? It is not.
No, if one becomes open, I
But-
think that it's brought up in a meeting, but I think it's just that,
But they're appointed by the board president, not elected by the board, correct?
It's not listed as a motion on the
It's not
agenda. That's
listed
why I
as
was
a
thinking we
motion.
don't vote on this.
no, you're correct.
I'd like to make a motion, if possible, that we table this until Mr. Lehman is available to appoint them. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine with me.
I don't even think it has to be a motion, right?
So
I think
all
it-
of number 11?
I think it does, Mrs. Singley, because of the new agenda rules. I think we do have to make a motion to table, and I will second that motion. Yes. For, Mike, when you made that motion, it was for 11A through E, correct?
Yes.
Jonathan made a motion, but it's not something we're actually voting on.
No, to table.
To
You're looking
table,
to
yes.
table
Are you looking to
11.
table all of number
All
11?
Yes, that is correct.
I second it.
Okay. Do we have any opposed? No? Hearing none, motion carries.
Comment here, when we bring it back next time, let's make sure that we get the right name for Cumberland Perry.
Yes, noted.
Oh.
Are we actually, should the IU be on here as well? Okay.
Okay, moving into number 12, finance, beginning with the treasurer's reports.
You just want to go down.
No? Okay. Moving on to B, looking for a motion to approve the following payments,
So moved.
1 through 3.
Second?
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve the Act 1 resolution for the 2022-2023 school year, limiting any real estate tax increase to 3.4%.
So moved.
Second. Any opposed?
I'm sorry, we have to also ask if there's a discussion before we take the vote. Approved, second, is there a discussion?
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to just, for point of discussion or clarification, a vote yes to this means not necessarily that we are raising taxes, but that if it happens, we will not raise it above 3.4%, correct?
Correct.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve $500 out of the cafeteria fund in contribution with the nutrition group to pay a mid-year bonus to the Director of Food Services, Jennifer Ziegler.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve the appointment of Mary Jane Vital as the tax collector for Marysville Borough.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Motion to approve the appointment of Judy Hart as the tax collector for Watts Township.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. A motion to approve personnel matters A through G.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Give me a minute to look at it.
Yep.
Number 9 is a placeholder. Do we have a name to put in there?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
No, so that one actually, we're going to go, it'll be 1 through 8 because there is nobody at this time for number 9.
I would just like to say I don't like that. I wish she was staying, Miss Nikki Moore. So I will, of course, I will vote to accept it. But I just wish she were staying. So just she's done a great job, and we'll miss her.
I second that.
So we can make a notion or make a note that says accept with regret.
Yes.
Or I could have run down through these individually and skipped that one.
Yeah.
I like to do the same thing for Doug Young, accept it with regret.
And I second
Noted.
that.
You good? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve a field trip for the AP U.S. History class to go to Boston from Thursday, March 17th, 2022 to Sunday, March 22nd, 2022 to tour various historical sites.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Seeking a motion to approve the Board Discipline Committee's recommendation for student 070807.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Seeking a motion to approve the Board Discipline Committee's recommendation for student 120106.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. How do I do these? Just a couple informational items here, dispositions of some smart boards, projectors, cameras, printers.
Comment. I remember when the smart boards were the thing.
They were like all the rage.
Boy, were
yeah.
they. That was a while ago.
Any discussion? Rob, you need some old Chromebooks or?
What is happening with them? Just going to recycling, or are they going to be auctioned off?
Yeah, they'll be going to recycling. They've passed their life expectancy.
Just a couple more informational items, the meeting schedule, caucus meeting, January 4th, LGI, 7 o'clock, and the regular school board meeting, January 11th, 7 o'clock. And moving into administrative reports. Dr. Fox.
So thank you, everybody, for your patience as we kind of navigate through some interesting kind of agenda items. this evening as well as we kind of work through. And thank you to everybody who's listening and your patience as we work together collectively as a team. I'd like to welcome Mr. Ken Ward to our administrative team. If we could please give him a round of applause and give him a nice Black Hawk welcome as he joins our team and continues to help. And we look forward to him joining us full time. Congratulations to our students on their production and the production staff for a great performance of A Rented Christmas. This performance was such a professional, really well done professional production. It was a result of many, many hours of practice under the direction of Dr. Rosario Epley. Well done, and thank you for providing this theater performance for our community, and it was outstanding. Congratulations to our cheerleaders who competed in PICO competition for their cheer performance last week at Newport. As was noted, great job, students, once again. Our winter season is well underway. And please, if you mark your calendars, come out and support the Blackhawks this winter season on the court, on the mat, and our independent swimmers in the pool. We have about 56 high school athletes participating and 36 middle school athletes participating this winter season. At this time, I would like to take a moment and give a special congratulations to Dr. Pat Woods on her retirement. I'd like to present Dr. Pat Woods with this framed certificate as a small symbol of our appreciation for your dedication and service to Susquenita School District. This certificate says, Dr. Pat Woods, our wish is to express a sincere gratitude for your dedication and service to our students and community. Your wisdom and commitment are an inspiration and will be remembered for years to come. We wish you good health, happiness, and continued success in your retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Pat Woods. Parents and guardians, we'll be holding a 2-hour early dismissal on December 23rd. More information will be coming out from the district office as well as from each building. As a reminder, that will be sent out soon. Look for that either tomorrow or on Wednesday. And as the winter season fast approaches, we will do our best to share information on possible delays and any cancellations, and whether that cancellation will transfer into a flexible instructional day. All information pertaining to flexible instructional days, information regarding schedules, are going to be posted on our website and will also be sent by our school building administration out again for your review. And finally, a sincere and best happy holidays to each of you and to your families. We wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you back here in 2022 on January the 6th. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see Quiggs here, so we'll move to buildings and grounds.
Good evening. Short staff, if anybody knows if anybody needs jobs, we're looking for custodial staff in the evenings, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. Look on the website. Maintenance guys are getting ready for snow removal. We're getting ready for the winter. We're all but done. Working on PMs, just busy. Most of the maintenance guys are helping clean the building so we can keep them sanitary for everybody. So if anybody needs any extra time or any extra money, let us know. Have a good evening.
Why is he looking right at me when he's saying this? Next up, Nikki.
Good evening again, everyone. I will certainly address my resignation, and I will keep it brief because I'm very motivated with that. But yeah, I've been very grateful to be in this position. I've learned a ton, and I've made really great relationships, and I thank you all for being part of this part of my journey. It's just certain things in your personal life that do take you to other areas. So I do appreciate everything, and if anyone ever needs anything, or I'm certainly always available and will always be. So with that said, there is a lot that I will be doing in the next month or so to get things moving in a good spot. So Feel free to reach out to me as I move through the budget and get us in a good, have all the information available and ready for you to look at and review. So if anybody needs anything, please reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Lorfink, Elementary School.
Thank you. Just a few things. Wanted to thank our PTO for donating books for our students. We celebrated American Education Week with some scavenger hunts around the building. And the children, either individually or as a class, found different book characters around the school, and they got to take their choice of books home or back to their classroom library. So thank you to the PTO for that effort. We also hung 10 turkeys around the school for our teachers to look for the following week, and Mrs. Comp and I are covering classes for our teachers who found them just to show our thanks to them as well. So lots of scavenger hunts. We're also having our family fun night this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. We're really excited to bring back some of our face-to-face activities we missed out on last week. There is a Grinch Who Stole Christmas theme this Friday night from 6 to 8, and we're expecting a nice a group of students and families. Our holiday shop will also be open this Friday evening as well as next week for our students. Mr. Fry, I don't know if you'll be volunteering to help our students shop. I know you do a nice job in the school store.
I'm bringing my Grinch down for the event, the inflatable Grinch.
Oh, we will take that, absolutely. And finally, our chorus concert. We're glad to be back in Susquenita's high school auditorium next Thursday night for our 4th grade chorus concert. Very excited to, again, be celebrating the holidays with these events at the elementary school.
Thank you. Mr. Funk.
Thank you. Just wanted to remind everyone that this Thursday night at 7 p.m. in our auditorium is our winter band and choral concert. It's going to be a great show, so I encourage everyone to come out and listen to our very talented students. Also on Friday the 17th, Mr. Shambaugh and his computer students will once again be holding a computer science and education day here in the LGI. Every year, Mr. Shambaugh and his students set up various stations that deals with technology and computers and STEM in the schools. And this year he actually has a guest speaker he's working on to bring in that more information will come out in the future. But they do a great job, and all the classes rotate throughout the day to get an experience. And it's a fun day with lots of learning and enjoyable activities. So Mr. Shambaugh does a great job with that. On December 23rd, on the 2-hourly dismissal, the PE department and some of the other teachers are organizing more of an activity day similar to the end of the last marking period. We've been trying every mid-marking period to have an enjoyable experience to balance the stress of academics along with the enjoyable experiences in the high school. So the PE department's going to be organizing volleyball, and we'll have activities in the auditorium and in the LGI for the students to choose from, just to reward them for the hard work they've been doing and send them on a positive note until they come back to us in January. And I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday and a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Mr. Black, Middle School.
Yeah, just a few things. So our winter concert is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade choir and band students. And I think it's going to last around an hour and a half, so it's not too much of your time to stop out. I'll be here for that as well. Fall sports, our junior high wrestling starts this weekend. We're at Selinsgrove for a team tournament. And our junior high boys basketball team is home next Tuesday and Thursday at the middle school gymnasium. And the only other things, we're still going on with our professional development. We did 2 lessons so far, so we'll be doing the 3rd in January, around the 22nd for digital citizenship. And we're still working on that. Getting our PBS team is together. We met, and now we're just working on getting the different pillars that we want our students to follow in the school, in different settings in the school. And again, like Mr. Funk said, just the happy holidays to everybody and safe travels, and I'll see you back here in January.
Thank you. Dr. Herman.
Thank you. First, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Phoenix, jumping right into the gifted position. Already has a lot of great ideas, spent a lot of time trying to organize himself. So I'm really excited to see where Mr. Phoenix takes us with that. Secondly, I'd like to recognize the school counselors for really adopting the new 504 process that we've really taken on this year. Seems like they've really just adopted it and moved forward through all of those obstacles that they encountered and just are doing great with the new process. And then within special education, there's a couple items. First, we are developing a special education plan this year. So our second meeting is tentatively coming up here in January. We welcome any of the board members that would like to participate on that committee. Date and time will come out soon. But that's well underway, and that I don't see any problems in getting that finished very quickly. It was extended, the due date was extended from the state, but we're good. And then I think we also need to just recognize that Mrs. Ellen Nelson is retiring in 2.5 weeks. I know for me, she's facilitated my transition here. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without her, for sure. She always jumps in, helps anybody, doesn't even have to ask her, she just does it. And I think she's an invaluable member of our team. So definitely want to recognize her tonight. And if you see her in the next 2.5 weeks, definitely let her know how much you appreciate her too. But I think that's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Matosh.
I have nothing this evening except happy holidays.
Good enough for me. Thank you. Moving along into board reports. Ms. Kelly.
Well, I want to echo everyone. Since I get to go first, I'm going to say the happy holidays and everything, so everyone has to repeat me. No, I'm just joking. No, I just want to thank everyone. We're almost through the first semester, and I think that everything is, getting back. I like approving the field trips and the plays and the chorus concerts and different activities. And one thing that happened that wasn't brought up, Mr. Shepler's civics class, several of the students went to an event up at Penn Tech in Williamsport to discuss bills. We actually had 2 of our students win one of the top 5 awards, which was best draft of a bill. And we had 2 other students win superior delegation. So I look forward to hearing about more of these events in all of our schools. And again, I wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rubish?
To play off what Mrs. Kelly just said, this is not the first time that Mr. Shepler's gone up to Williamsport and come back with the hardware. So he's done it before. I want to say again, shout out to Dr. Epley and the rest of the staff that work with her and the students for a wonderful job on the winter play. It seems unbelievable we're losing so many good people here at the same time, and I want to call attention to that. We're losing Nikki Moore and Doug Young and Pat, and Ellen Nelson is, Ellen Nelson was the little kid with her thumb in the dike a lot of times down there. I mean, she was holding everything together. She did a wonderful job. Lastly, from the Susquenita Blackhawk Foundation, we're past the 5K now, and I'm on to organizing a golf outing in May or June. And I know absolutely nothing about golf. So if you do, please contact me and help me out. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. You emailed me and asked when we were going to talk. We didn't talk yet this evening.
We'll talk afterwards.
Apparently, we're going to have a short, it won't be an executive session. You don't have to stick around. All right, Mr. Carmo.
I'd just like to thank the board for making right what the Postal Service screwed up, but it's the last time I do that, so lesson learned, don't rely on the Postal Service when something's important. So, but happy holidays. We will miss all of the people that won't be here in the coming year, and just, keep on doing a great job. I've heard nothing but positive things coming from the kids I've talked to.
Thank you. Mrs. Wilt?
I'll be going for training finally on Saturday, so wish me luck. I might find out what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. No, thank you, everybody, for making me part of your family.
You might find out that you don't want to be part of us anymore, too, yeah.
I think I'm stuck for 4 years.
I would have thought she'd have realized that sooner.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Mrs. Singley?
I would just like to say thank you to Dr. Jones for serving as our vice president for a year and for the extra time that you had to put in for doing that. And congrats to Mr. Fry for taking on the new role and to Mr. Lehman. I also just wanted to again congratulate the Christmas card winners. A number of years ago, I sat as one of those parents, and when one of my kids got one of those awards, and that was my first school board meeting. I was going to tell the parents that, 5 years from now, you too could be sitting on school board if you care to want to do that. Also, again, thank you to Nikki and to Dr. Woods for your time here. We appreciate all of what you've contributed to our school district, and we will miss you. Welcome to Mr. Ward. Tonight I was thinking, he probably was thinking, is this what Susquenita school board meetings are like? We're usually more put together than this. So this is a reorg meeting, and this is what happens.
No offense, Mr. Fry.
No, it wasn't just you.
I said it for you.
I just felt like we were like, oh, we're all discombobulated. Anyway, welcome to Berry County. I know you live here, though. So it's anyway. And again, also you need to go back over where you used to sit. Just Merry Christmas to everyone. Wish you happy holidays, Happy New Year, and looking forward to the new year.
I'm not sure if I want to say thank you to that, but no, thank you. Dr. Jones, I'm down. You want to kick me while I'm down?
No. It's good to laugh, isn't it? Like I have this saying, stupid COVID. It's the thing I tend to say a lot at work. And I will echo, Tina, what you said, except you forgot scavenger hunts. Like field trips, concerts, like stupid COVID has gotten in the way. But I'm so happy that we're doing field trips and scavenger hunts and things. And,
And Christmas party,
I've always...
Christmas open house again.
Christmas events. And I've always felt like Susquenita was this gem, that people didn't know about. And every day longer that I'm in our school district, I feel more and more like we are a gem because of the people, the administrators over here and our board and our superintendent. And I'm excited. And I walked out here tonight from executive session and I said to Dr. Fox, like, you were all laughing and like we're laughing. It just, I don't know, there's a sense of warmth and family and community that is coming back to our district, which I love. And I loved the Christmas play. I mean, it's nice to be in a school where you can still say Merry Christmas, and that play was Merry Christmas. And the big tree in the lobby, it was just, my parents were here. It was just a very warm, just feel good, like throwback almost type of thing, which I'm very, very happy to be a part of. So, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me as I work through this as a first for myself. Thank you also to the staff that are not only leaving, but joining us, as you move on to opportunities that are in your future. We appreciate everything you did for us here. And I agree with everything that's said about all the events that are happening in the schools. Again, it's great. It's nice to be able to get back out and be together and do those things. It's nice to walk in to the elementary school and be greeted by Dr. Lorfink, who sees me now being able to volunteer again and help the kids in the school store and do all those activities. So it's wonderful to see how things are going this year, and hopefully it just keeps on going in a positive direction. So thank you all. And happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Okay, at this time, we'll take public comments. And please state your name and township.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jackie Rogers from Penn Township, and I was getting messages as I'm sitting up here. So I'm supposed to remind everyone that the Breakfast with Santa, that the high school bands, and this is not just the marching band, it benefits all the bands, is this Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the middle school cafeteria. So don't come up here, please. And then I also thought and I don't know if Mr. Funk knows about this, but congrats to Riley Blanchard for earning her position in the district band. And you have to try out for it, and not very many people make it, so it's a big deal here. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion?
Are we moving into an executive session, or was that a joke?
I prefer not to.
Okay, good, I'm good.
All right, any opposed? No? Okay, this meeting is adjourned.